think
I thought you were going to say my Marilyn Monroe dress.
Oh, that was some gluey shit right there. We had a good time. I had laughs. Like, I'm
Right.
not saying it's a bad movie by any means.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Glued Together podcast, episode number 5. My favorite number.
True. You have a 5 necklace.
I do a 555 necklace. What does this necklace mean? To change?
It's numerology, and the 5s help transition and change and adaptability.
I'm into it. And I just like 5, so no complaints. But so we saw Barbie.
We saw Barbie.
What did you just post? Because I thought that was pretty funny.
I posted a picture of us in front of the Barbie sign at the theater, and it just says, "The actual last people on Earth to see Barbie."
Yeah, we're literally the last people on Earth.
Yeah.
It's like out of theaters, at least out of the mainstream theaters, in just a few days, I think.
That's how fast time is going, because we've been
Yeah.
talking about going to see it since it came out, but
Right.
parenting and
Yep.
adult life didn't leave us much space. So
Move your mic up a little bit.
move it up. like
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was in your
There.
face last episode.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out Jenilee's mic.
Yeah.
It's mostly just a situation of the couch and how there's a table behind us that's holding our mics stands, and it just doesn't quite make it over
Yeah.
to you. So, but this looks good from my angle. So we'll see how it shows up.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully it's perfect.
Hopefully it's perfect. Cheers!
Cheers. We are drinking
Our
wine
first
tonight.
drinking episode. See how it goes.
We're celebrating my amazing work week.
Yes.
I had like 7 walk-in sessions at the
Amazing.
shop that I'm working at, and then I did an in-home session today with someone that was like this deep dive transformational healing,
Beautiful.
and yeah, it's just I'm working again,
Yeah.
and it's a really big deal.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
The plan was to go 6 months without working after a baby.
Yeah.
It's a little longer than that.
Yeah. So
Life happens postpartum.
takes as long as it takes, and
Exactly.
I
Shout out to
am-
everyone who doesn't get the chance.
I am privileged to be able to have taken that much time, and it's like I was working on and off part-time, but this is the most committed and
Yeah.
real actual back to work that I've done since having Antler, so it feels really good.
Congrats, baby.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Thank you.
I am drinking a Malbec. Malbec is my favorite type of wine. I like all kinds of wine, but Malbec's definitely my favorite. You're drinking a...
I'm drinking a rosé, but I'm not one of those like rosé all day girls.
No.
I do love red wine as a favorite. I love Cabernet as a favorite. But it's
It's hot.
hot summer. I'm not really like put ice in my red wine type of person, and I don't really love it
Have a few times.
cold. So as soon as fall comes, I'm gonna go straight back to red.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
put ice in my red wine a few times.
Yeah.
But I do like white. I like Chardonnays, nice and cold.
It's nice in the summer.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're not snobby drinkers, though. We're like, if it's an occasion, we'll buy like a $23 bottle of wine. And we are like, woo,
Yeah.
the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But most times we're like, $11, $10.99. That's me. Here we are. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, we're going for the bargain, baby. Bang for your buck. So we saw Barbie.
You saw Barbie.
What did you think? We wore our Glued Together podcast shirts because they were pink.
Because they were pink. We were like, we have to wear pink. Perfect.
Gotta wear pink. Comment below. Did you see Barbie? Did you not see Barbie?
Yeah.
Like it? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
Or
Mediocre?
You're still processing it.
Still
which,
processing?
honestly, yeah. Like, I'm glad we didn't record last night because it gave us time to actually process.
Yeah, right.
Because we did talk a little bit about it, but we both initially were like,
Yeah. I mean, I had people tell me it was... Okay, there will be some small spoilers here because it's hard to talk about a movie and give your reviews without telling a little bit about the movie. But we won't go hardcore.
I guess that's part of the gift of us waiting so long to see it. Hopefully you've seen
Most
it.
people have seen it. Yeah, exactly.
Or you don't want to see it, which is fine too.
Yeah. So there was a big hype. Everyone was talking about it online, and I was like, I am not watching a preview. If someone was talking about it, I would flip. Like, I would just keep scrolling. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, I want to see this movie without all of this stuff. But it still got pumped up because everyone was talking about it. I have a colleague of mine, shout out to Kyle, and he gave it a 10 out of 10. And I was like, damn. Okay. Wow. You know, without any context, I was like, all right, here we go. I will say that my rating last night to today has bumped up a little bit.
Okay.
So I feel like after having settled down, I feel like a little bit more of a rating. So if you rated it out of 10, 10 being like perfect, what would you rate it?
Oh, you mean number-wise?
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's like I have a different rating for like the world and myself. Does that make sense? Like I feel like
okay, yeah. I want to hear them both.
I feel like it's so great for the world and the next generation to have access to this movie. Amazing, yes. So 10 for like
the world gets 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
10 out of 10 world view.
Yes.
All right.
For myself, you know, there were some.
Let's drop it down.
I don't know. There was just some slight disappointments for myself.
Yeah.
As a previous Barbie player. And I don't know how you would say that, or generation of Barbie.
Yeah, you were Generation
girl.
Barbie for sure.
I couldn't help but feel like, is this just a big, like, I'm sorry from Mattel, like, that we're going to do better? You know, I was disappointed there was only one Barbie that was not thin. You know, it just felt like she was like the token not thin Barbie. And so that was disappointing to me. I did like, so my favorite character, I'm not great with character names, but they
were all called Barbie.
No, so the human.
Okay.
My favorite character was the human mom of the preteen or the tween.
I don't even know. Did they even say her name? Sasha?
I don't know. I'm just not that great with
Okay.
remembering character
The mom.
names. But I loved her speech about women and our expectations. And I think it was really healing for me to hear her name and say that, like, we as women, it's like, oh, you know, we're not supposed to focus on being thin. We're supposed to focus on being healthy, but we better still be thin. Like, I feel like for a really long time, like, I felt that in my journey, but didn't really have words or language for it. Because I knew, like, that diet culture wasn't for me and that I was done with that. And, you know, I went through a whole entire healing journey. I was an eating disorder therapist for a while, and I just went through a lot with that. And it's still, at the end of the day, no matter what I was doing, still felt like this, like, overarching pressure to be thin no matter what I was doing. And yeah, it's just one of those things, like, you know, fat phobia is real and it's not going anywhere. It's like something that, you know, more and more people are waking up to. But specifically since moving to New York, we have been exposed to a lot of people here that are very much living in fat phobia without awareness of it.
Right.
And so I've been sort of bombarded with that energy again. And so it was refreshing to hear the mom in the movie make that, or just name that and validate that, yeah, like, we as women were expected to be thin no matter what, and pretend that we're not focusing on that. Even though subconsciously we have this messaging that no matter what, we have to focus on that.
Right.
And so, yeah,
it's like
I really
a little contradictive because of speech, but then also
Well, it's a mind fuck.
there was
It's a
only one.
complete mind fuck at being a woman and feeling like you are doing your best to be healthy and you know, to love your body and you know, feel sexy and you know, love yourself and like develop a practice of that, and then still at the end of the day feel like you still are somewhat submissive to
the culture,
the thin ideal.
Yeah.
And the culture of that. So
with that, what's your rating?
with that, I would give it,
A personal Jenilee's
so
rating.
my personal rating, I guess, is an 8.
An 8. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's pretty close to mine.
Okay.
I didn't think of a worldview.
Okay.
Mine was a 7.9
Okay.
in my rating,
Okay.
coming from like the, you know, male man mask perspective.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Like, I laughed. There were many times where I laughed. I thought that it was like, you know, I liked how they set the scene and everything. And like in Barbie Land, like everything was fake. And like, you know, I thought that was
Yeah.
really funny and comical. And, you know, I didn't know Will Ferrell was in it. And most of the things he's in, I really like. So I liked his character. And
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I thought that it was just kind of like, it was fun and quirky, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And when it was like corny funny, they knew how to be corny funny, and you knew that they knew they were being corny funny, which made it funny, as opposed to them not thinking it's corny funny, but it is corny funny, and then you're like, now this is just corny. Like that scene where she was like running away from everyone and they're like tripping over each other and stuff, like that was only funny because they made it like, yes, we know this is ridiculous and we're still gonna make it funny. So I thought that was cool. I love the ending. Should I share the ending? I feel like most people probably saw it, right?
Yeah. I think so.
All right,
It's
well,
going
close
out
your
of theaters,
ears
so-
for 3 seconds. I love how in the ending, like Barbie chose to be a human, because I think so many times humans choose to think they want to be a Barbie, right? So I thought that was really beautiful. I thought that was probably my favorite part of the whole movie. And I think what I felt like the movie was missing was 2 things. So first thing is, you know, the whole Ken thing. Like, I just wish that they used more words to describe what Ken was feeling, because I feel like it's how I think it's how a lot of men feel, but they don't say it, and they use, like in the movie, like they use patriarchy, you know, to cover it up.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they had an opportunity for Ken to just say like, I'm lonely, I don't really know who I am, I feel like without you as my girlfriend or whatever, like I don't know who I am, and in Barbie Land there's no place for me. You know what I mean? And I feel like that could have been related for men and for women, right? Because like women living in the real world. So I just feel like they could have easily just said that instead of having Ken have like 2 different singing, dancing things. But I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, you know, it's Ryan Gosling. He's like ripped and shirtless through half of it. So, you know, maybe just watching a hot man, you know, like you were saying, like it's for our age group. Like, you know, because of the Notebook and everything. And, you know, maybe that was, you know, maybe it was just for you. So you can see a hot guy running around singing and dancing, right? I don't know. Maybe. But, I mean, it was mostly women in the, you know, or like perceived women in there, you know, femme people. So, but other than that, the other, you know, there was 2 things. It was mostly that, and then I just felt like I'm forgetting what the other thing was, which I guess means it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, I think I'll just stick with that. With that, I just kind of wish that like for the men's piece, they just like explained it more. You know, like instead of like they just kind of gloss over it. Right. But in so many of other things, they really just get to it. They're just like, this is it, like in the speech, right? But it's like they skipped over this one part. But, you know, I mean, it's not going to hit every mark. So I think like in the world, it was a good movie. It was worth the time. It was worth the money.
Yeah.
We had a good time. I had laughs. Like, I'm
Right.
not saying it's a bad movie by any means.
Yeah. And I think, it is a reflection that, the feminine is healing a bit faster than the masculine. Like it feels like they're both healing. The collective feminine and masculine energies of the world are in a healing process. And yeah, I think that's what it looks like, right? It's like, oh, let's just put some more music in there instead of like going a little deeper.
Yeah. I mean, I guess also like there's only so much space for healing, right? Like even when you think about being in a couple, right? Like it's so much easier to just heal by yourself, to just be single, healing, doing your own thing. It is a lot harder to be healing in a partnership, you know what I mean? In a committed partnership, let alone even if you're just like living with your best friend or something, it's hard to heal if you're living with your family, like just easier to heal alone, to be honest, because then no one can bring up your shit or trigger you, or you get stuck in someone else's energy. So
yeah, well, but all at the same time, I'll argue that those things are like the catalyst for healing.
Yeah. No, agreed. But that's what I mean, though. Like, it's easier to heal without catalysts because you just heal with what you think you need, and then you're just like alone doing your thing, So if you, like I said, if you saw it, let us know. What's your rating? What's your personal rating?
So I had one more thing.
Oh, sorry.
So that I didn't say. It was, speaking of healing, it was healing for me to have them focus on how fake Barbies are. Like that, just the fact that Barbies are fake. I think I said this to you. Like, the fact that she tried to drink a glass of water and she couldn't, or the fact that she couldn't actually take a shower with real water.
There was no
like,
water.
Like it just reminded like my inner little girl that this ideal that you are conditioned to live up to is not real, even though our culture holds it up as real.
Yeah.
It's not real. Like nobody can be Barbie because
she's fake.
She's fake.
It's not a real thing.
Yeah, that was, I loved that part of it. Like they were very clear, like they are plastic and not human.
Right. Yeah. No, agreed.
So,
I feel like this week, like I'm trying to think of what was really helpful for me this week, because you asked me earlier, like, oh, what's your glue for this week? And I'm still trying to think of what my glue was for this week. There's a lot of random things. Like there was no big things that happened this week, but like just a lot of random things that happened. I think
I thought you were going to say my Marilyn Monroe dress.
Oh, that was some gluey shit right there. That's for sure. You had a sexy Marilyn Monroe dress on. Everyone called you Marilyn the whole day.
Yeah.
Just waiting for a big gust of wind to come so you can go, oh.
What's funny is that I didn't see it as a Marilyn Monroe dress until the first person said it. And I was like,
it was an all white dress that like went. It looked exactly like it.
It's just funny. I didn't think of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean maybe that's why it was even better, because it was like unintentional. You know what I mean? Like you were unintentionally were like
it caught you by surprise.
Me, Marilyn Monroe. Ha, ha, ha. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but no, that was good. I think my glue for this week was really long. Like actually, a short story made shorter. I caught a football and jammed my finger. And I tried to play it cool, and everything was fine. But then I decided when it comes to my body, I try to like anything I want to do, I do the opposite. So I wanted to just ignore it and everything be fine. And instead, I got ice and I put it on my finger. And even the next day, I got ice and put it on my finger. And I took some ibuprofen for the swelling, even though I didn't want to. And like I tried to take care of my body. And I feel like maybe that's like in my mind, it was just like the effort of caring for myself. I think even this week, like my gym schedule has been weird. I've been fighting a lot of like negative feelings. So just like taking care of my body, I feel like has been something that even though it's been hard, it's been like kind of, it's like sticky, but I think it's like helpful. It's been helpful for me.
Yeah, it's a really big deal for you to be taking care of your body, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Proud of you.
Thanks.
Mm.
What's your glue?
So my glue is...
I gotta drink this right up.
My glue is that I'm like happily working and momming at the same time. Like that's something that in my really dark postpartum days didn't feel possible. Like it just didn't feel like it was going to be possible for me. And so, yeah, I feel proud of myself and I feel aligned, you know, with my purpose. And like, there's no question in my mind that I'm like not supposed to be doing what I'm doing.
I love it.
So
yeah, I love that you're working. It's definitely an adjustment for me. Like I will say that just because of Antler and everything, but I can tell that you feel empowered and that feels good to see you feeling that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you've had some struggle in that, you know, just because like I said, that this wasn't our plan, but it's been really nice.
Yeah.
I've loved to see it. So, should we get into questions?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for your questions. We've been getting a lot more, which is awesome. Again, like keep asking them. You can ask them in the comments. Oh my gosh, my little heart. Ask them in the comments, but I've noticed a lot of people haven't asked them in the comments, but that's fine. But I have noticed that we've been getting more emails. So shout out to the people who email us. I don't know why, it makes me excited.
We love getting
We
mail.
love getting emails. So you can email us at gluedtogetherpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can go to the description box below and click on the Slido link. They're only active for a week. So if you're on a past episode, it's no longer active because we're trying to make these like, what's your question this week? You know what I mean?
Right. So as the person in charge of the questions, I am keeping a question bank. And so no question is unturned.
No question is lost.
No question is lost. If we haven't gotten to your question yet, it just means that we talk too much in the beginning of the podcast.
Yes, exactly.
And we're trying to get better at that.
Yeah. Get up in that mic, girl.
Yeah.
Make love to it. Like So the dilemma was that they couldn't see your face. I love your face. I want to see your face, but you can't really see my face right now. It's covering my mouth, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, move it up.
Like that.
Yeah, maybe a little too high. Just a little bit.
Like
there we go. That feels
Okay.
good. That feels good.
So no question is lost. We want to answer all of them, and I'm keeping them organized.
But if you're in a hurry, comment every week.
Yes. And so there's no time that you can't ask a question because there's always going to be
right. But what
link.
I'm saying, I know, but what I'm saying is that the link dies after each week. That like if you're on episode 3, if you came from episode 3, it's dead. You can't click that link. It doesn't work anymore.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But we
That's
always update the link in our bios.
I know, but I'm just saying that like each week there's a new link.
Right.
That's all I was trying to communicate. It's like every week there's a new link, or you can email us.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Or comment below.
Yeah. And ask as many questions as you want. If you're just thinking of a question, you know, just go and send it in.
Yeah, they're asking, girl.
Yeah, they are. All right. So first question today from Anonymous is, how has everyone's mental health been and how has it affected your everyday life, your energy, your vibes, etc.?
You think they mean like right now? How's my mental health been right now?
Yeah.
Or in life?
Yeah, I think that they're just curious about our mental health. So if you want to share, if like something that you're thinking about, like you want to share, you can.
You go first. I feel like I always go first because you ask the question. So you go first.
Okay. So for me, like I was saying, I had a really intense postpartum anxiety experience, and I had an extended postpartum period, a lot longer than I had planned. And so it just took me a while to get my bearings as a mom and to come back to my zenned out self that I was before I got pregnant. And I think, you know, I didn't really know what anxiety was before I had a baby. I thought I knew what it was because I had like the textbook version of it. And like, I never experienced anything close to what I experienced after I had a baby. So, I think for me, just feeling myself again means that I have, like, my default is not anxious. And my default is calm, and I have a practice of like returning to that. And when I was in my postpartum period, it was very difficult for me to get myself there. And so that's pretty much like the last 5 years of my mental health is like working through all of that and overcoming a lot of like deep like ancestral issues, specifically like maternal issues from my maternal lineage, just like healing that sort of stuff. And I've done so much of that I literally feel like a new human being. So
yeah, can attest.
Yeah.
My mental health, it's hard for me to think about it in a like a 5-year span type of thing, you know, but something very like specific, I guess, happened like, but I don't know. I think like my mental health in the more recent time has been a lot about like, I mean, I guess it's just mostly just been about like my eating disorder is really what I've been struggling with in the last, I don't know, 8 years, probably my whole life, but like actively the last 8 years, maybe 9-ish years. Like when I think about when I was actually aware of it compared to when I wasn't aware with it. But if I think about just like the thing that's constantly coming up in my mental health, it's not like I'm suffering from anxiety, like what I'm hearing from you. I'm not suffering from depression. I mean, I think everyone has like you feel, oh, I feel sad today. I feel depressed. I feel anxious. But I don't think that's something that's like constantly coming up in this very like, wow, I'm so familiar with this. Wow, I'm dealing with this all the time. So yeah, definitely just like body image and food and working out and, you know, like internalized fat phobia, like you were saying earlier, like, oh, fat phobia, it's not going anywhere. It's like, yeah, 'cause like in all of us, you know what I mean? Like we're all fighting it on some level. I mean, maybe there's some healed ass people out there, but like most of us in some capacity are fighting it, you know what I mean? Or dealing with it or, you know, fighting it even if we're trying to push it off of us, you know what I mean? So, oh, my finger.
You okay?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's probably, and how has it affected me? I mean, it just affects how I feel about myself. If I feel good, if I feel bad, if I feel good in an outfit, what foods I'm going to eat, if I feel good about the foods, if I feel bad about the foods, if I'm going to binge the foods, if I'm going to restrict the foods, you know what I mean? And just like coming up with plans in my head, like if I'm eating bad, then I'm like, oh, what's the plan? What's the counteractive plan here? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think a lot about that. Like that's still a constant thing that I struggle with, but I get a little bit better every year. Like if we just like do it cumulatively, like every year I'm feeling a little bit more okay with my body. I'm feeling a little bit more fine. You know, I'm looking at other people around me and I'm like, it's fine that they look like that and it's fine that I look like this, and you know what I mean? But that's definitely something that's constantly coming up. And I think it's mixed a little bit with being trans, but I don't think that that's all of it. Like if we had, you know, maybe 15 or 20% is that I'm a transgender person, and so the relationship with my body is tough to begin with, and there's a sense of trying to be perfect or find the perfect feeling in my body. But I think most of it is that whether you're trans or not, most people don't feel perfect in their body. Most people want to change something about their body. You know what I mean? And I think that that's actually what most of my feeling is. Like, I think that's more of the 75, 80-ish% of me is just like, you know. So, yeah, so I think that's mostly what my mental health struggle has been for quite a while, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking that.
Yeah, giving some space.
Yeah.
Just be like, everyone's got something.
Yeah.
Everyone shits.
Yes. This is
Everyone
true.
poops.
All right, another anonymous question. Do you two plan on writing memoirs?
Did we answer this one already?
No, we didn't.
You're the question lady, so I believe you. I tried to write a memoir, but it didn't hit. That's pretty much what happened. I got an agent, and first I didn't have an agent, and so I paid an editor to help me write something, meaning like I would write it, they would review it, we'd work through it together. It wasn't like a ghostwriter. Then I got so that didn't work. And honestly, that was like $5,000 maybe over the course of a year and a half, maybe 4,000. I don't know. It was a lot of money. And then I got an agent and had to rewrite it, the whole thing. And it still didn't hit. We sent it to like 15 different reps, and they liked the story. They liked me, but they just said that the writing just it didn't hit. So I still would like to write a memoir, but I think the reality is that I just don't really know what story I want to tell. It's like, I don't really want to tell just like I'm trans. Like, I don't want that to be my story. Does that make sense?
Well, you want it to be part of it, but you don't want it to be the main thing.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's something else there. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it is yet. You know, I'm just not sure. Like, it's almost like, because even they even say it's not like I'm a bad writer. It's just it was just missing that kind of like mystique that you read a memoir and you're like, wow, this was really powerful. You know, it's just kind of missing that. I think I was just kind of writing what I think other people want me to talk about instead of like what I actually want to say. And then when I think about it, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm really ready to say I don't think I know what I want to say yet. You know, because I also want it to be something different than what I've said before. Like, I've said so much.
Right.
Motherfucker's been saying a lot for a long time. So I don't know.
There's one writer that I love, but I can't think of her name right now. And she said something along the lines of like, first you write about the book and then you write the book.
Right.
Like, so.
So maybe, yeah.
And I just want to say.
That? Tip of my tongue.
Yes.
Tip of my tongue.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Keep going.
Yeah. We'll put it in the show notes if we remember.
We're not going to remember, but that's a nice thought.
So I do feel like you have a moving story, and I've read everything you've written, and I feel like it's a timing thing. It's like, it really feels like it's been a timing thing, because I've seen you try over the years at different points, and it's like there's something that's meant to be in it that.
Yeah, I think about that too.
You know, there's something that's meant to be in it.
Whether that's an action or a thing that happens to me, or it's just like an unlocking of a personal, like, unlocking of something within myself. But yeah, I mean, I would love in my lifetime to write a memoir, but I also don't. I used to want to be a writer, but I don't think I'm a writer personally. Like, it doesn't feel like my calling. So if I write a memoir, it'll be because I'm like, hey, I want something I have something to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, this one, on the other hand, though, is definitely a writer.
I identify as a writer as part of my identity, I guess. My writing has not been as organized as I feel like it needs to be to write my memoir. And I also have yearnings to write an oracle deck book, like, and you know what I mean, like So, it's like I am definitely an idea person. I'm a creative person. And my writing, I have so much writing, just like random writing in my phone. And I even like sometimes I think of names of memoirs or names of books I'm going to write. And I have all these random titles in my phone. And like, so I've always had like friends that are writers and have like published books and like, and so it's like I've always had this reflection of like, yeah, this is something you're going to do at the right time. Like it feels like a timing thing for me too. And so it's really about me getting really serious and organized about it and feeling like it's something I can do.
Intuitively, I feel like you're going to write a different book before you write a memoir book. Just like intuitively.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because you've talked a lot about a lot of different books you want to write. So
yes.
I feel like you're going to, I have no doubts that you'll write a book before I do.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean.
I just do.
Okay.
She's a good writer, though.
I'm starting to see more possibility just in terms of like, I'm working again, and like I there's more space for me. Like I was so overwhelmed in my postpartum that like nothing really seemed like I could accomplish it unless it was something to do with motherhood.
Right.
And so yeah, I think it's happening in its own timeline.
Yep.
And if any of you have any resources for us, or
talk to the people, girl.
I'm trying to, and it's like
maybe we need to get you a new mic stand.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just what it is.
Yeah, I can't.
And so I edit all of these, and I get anxiety when I see you like pull away from the mic or turn like this, because I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna get what she's saying on audio.
I mean, I don't know. I'm like curious to feel like what it feels like on that side, because I just like it's just so awkward on this.
I just don't think it's out far enough.
Yeah, maybe. And this is like. Let me just put this. Okay.
It's just not out far enough.
If anyone.
Sorry.
Okay. Not out far enough.
You can't go out any further. That's the dilemma.
Yeah.
We need you a longer mic stand.
Yes, true. So if anyone has any resources for us, and for either one of us, if anyone feels called to support either one of us.
I don't want to write a book right now. Don't call me. I don't feel.
Okay.
I don't feel like inspired.
Okay.
But all means, put the call out.
Email us at gluedtogetherpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I don't believe him.
I don't. I really. Like. I don't fucking time. I have time to write a book right now.
No.
I have no time to write a book unless you have a check that's coming with the book. I don't have time. I just don't.
Which is totally possible.
It is possible, but I just.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, inside, I don't think it's time.
Okay.
I want to write a book, but it's not my time right now.
I respect it.
I tried, and now I feel like I need to hold off until the ship comes back around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But you do have something written.
Yeah, but that's not the book I want to write.
Okay.
That's what I think I was trying to say before.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the story I want to tell.
Yeah.
I've only written what I think people want to hear.
Okay.
Not that I'm making up things or lying, but just like what I think the story that they would want me to say.
Yeah.
The story they want me to tell, and I want to tell the story that I want to tell.
Okay.
And I don't know what that is yet.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I hear you.
Next question. Moving on.
Okay. From Anonymous.
I love how you say from Anonymous.
I am a trans man and my girlfriend is a cis woman.
Hey.
She had been dating cis men before me, so she had all of her experiences with cis men. Even though I'm not a jealous type of person, this drives me insane because I keep comparing myself and think about all the things I lack or all the things I can't offer to my partner, especially during sex. How can I stop comparing myself with her previous experiences and not let gender dysphoria ruin my relationship?
Is she orgasming? That'd be my first question.
It doesn't say.
I know. I'm saying like to him, like, is she orgasming? She seemed like she's having a good time. Is she asking for things that you're not giving her? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, those are great questions.
Because if all of those things are like Yes, she's orgasming. Yes, she's having a good time. No, she's not asking for anything that I'm not giving her, or you don't, you know what I mean? Like, then she's probably fine. She's
Yeah.
probably having a good fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I always think about is, and like, I'm not trying to downplay any like dysphoria you have. That's not what I mean. But like, what I'm trying to say is to reframe your question about like comparing yourself, because it's like, if all she cared about was the D, she wouldn't be with you.
Yeah.
But clearly she cares about more than that, and that's why she's with you. And like, if you like someone and you're attracted and you want to get it on, you're going to find a way. Like, it's not even like, it's not even going to quite really matter what they have. You're just gonna be like, all right, that's what you got. Like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Like that, that's because I just, so again, not to downplay the dysphoria, just to really reframe it of like, yeah, like if she's with you and she's having a good time and you're having a good time, then it's probably, you're probably good. You're probably good. What do you think?
So I think that it would be a good idea to talk with her, and, maybe she's listening, maybe she's not. I find that using the language that affirms your confidence sexually is the key. Like, there's specific language that we kind of both agreed upon. Yeah, agreed upon pretty early on that it's not really language that we want to use.
Yeah.
And so I think it can be helpful to decide that between the two of you. Like,
right.
What do you want your genitals to be? What do you want your genitals to be called, so that you can escape into the euphoric sexual experience, and not get caught up in this or that and language or what's missing. And find out, like, is she missing something?
Yeah, is she having a good time or not?
And are you missing something? Do you need something?
Right.
Like, you have to get clear. You can't make the assumptions. And there's definitely like awkward moments when you have to have these conversations. But there's always a new beginning. There's always an opportunity to fresh start. There's all different types of avenues that these conversations can lead to, and a lot of them include really great sex.
Yeah.
So
I just had a good thought too.
Okay.
Like, a question that maybe you should ask yourself is like, is she also with you because it's better sex?
I think there's a huge possibility.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe she's thinking the opposite. Maybe she's telling all her friends, like, listen, I was sleeping with all those cis men and I found what I was looking for. You know what I mean? Like, mama got it and she ain't going anywhere. So I think like there's just so many, like, sometimes when we stick in our head, we're in our head too much. Like, we don't see all these other ways that it can be viewed, So I would definitely those first main questions, like, to ask yourself, to like clear your own thoughts, and then to ask her of like, and like, hopefully you can just say like, oh, sometimes I feel like I'm not giving you what you want because I don't have a dick. And if she says, I'm good, this is great, like, I'm not missing it, then you need to believe her. And if she says, I'm not missing it, but maybe having a strap on or something could be fun every now and then maybe, and maybe you'll have to have that conversation with her and with yourself if that's comfortable for you. You know what I mean? Like, because I just, and I think that has less to do with like you having a dick or not than it does with just like the different ways people like to have sex and the different ways you like to feel. You know what I mean? Like, maybe she's got, G-spot up there that you just can't reach, and she's like, I want you to reach that. And so that might mean you have to wear a strap on. So do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, like, questions you have to ask yourself and you have to ask her.
Yeah.
And you got to trust what the answers are. Again, like, if she says, I'm good, honey, like, you need to be like, she's good. She's good.
Yeah. I think you need to surround yourself with the confident voice of being a trans man. Like, there are things, right? Like, you all, understand a woman's body in a different way than cis men could ever fathom. And so as much as there's like a lot of dysphoria typically with that understanding, it's that understanding is still there, like that awareness of a woman's body is still there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on the person.
Yeah.
I think some people transition really young and they actually don't have any real knowledge.
Yeah, that's true. It does depend
they never
on,
got
on
menstruation. That. They never, besides just like literally the anatomy part. But I think that many trans men would agree with what you're saying. Yeah. And I would agree. I mean, I didn't transition until I was 21, so I knew, I know all those things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I agree with it.
Yes.
But, so.
Okay.
Get it on.
Yeah. Thanks for asking that question and trusting us. And, you know, I think there's some really good
opportunities
in
your future.
All right. Next question. Will you guys be at Palm Springs Pride in November? Would love to meet you both. You're a beautiful couple in so many ways. Much love. Loving the videos.
Oh, well, thank you. We will not be in Palm Springs in November.
We won't be. But we could be anywhere where we're paid to go.
Yeah. That's a really clear and direct way of saying that.
Yeah. So, if anybody...
AKA... I do public speaking. You've never done public speaking, but you totally could do.
No, we've done public speaking together.
That's right. We have. We've done couples. Where was that?
That was.
It's only once, though, right? Or did we do it twice?
We've done it twice.
Yeah. We've done a couples, like transitioning while being a couple, pretty much, and giving tips and,
Yeah, we were the keynote speakers actually at one of the conferences.
What was that conference called?
It was.
It's been so long.
Yeah, it has been a while.
Either way, yeah, it was anything before.
But yeah, we could totally do that again.
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah,
or email us.
Thanks for thinking of us.
Yes,
though.
I will be in Palm Springs though.
When?
For my work retreat.
Oh,
we're going to Palm Springs.
Oh, okay.
But I have no idea when it is.
Okay, well, we'll keep you posted.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. So next question.
I'll bring my shirt, and I'll wear my shirt one day. Maybe you'll see me.
Next question is, do you have to get another doctor to prescribe testosterone when you move states? I'm currently looking at moving out of state, but I am scared about what that means for my transition. Thanks for your answer.
Yes. You do. Doctors only are certified in certain states. Sometimes if you're in like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania or something, sometimes they're clustered together. But like if you're moving from California to North Carolina or Wisconsin to Oklahoma or Maine to Pennsylvania or any other combination of 2 of the 50 different states, you will need to get another doctor. Unless you use a telehealth company, then you'll still need another doctor, but it's a lot more accessible. So, yeah, unfortunately, you will need to. But just like if you got a doctor and you had asthma, you couldn't get your inhalers from a doctor that you moved that doesn't currently see you, which you have, you know what I mean? So it's just like that.
Okay, next. I'm a newly single trans man, and I'm learning to love myself and become more secure before I get into another relationship. The idea of dating
healthy
again,
masculinity.
Right? The idea of dating again is daunting. Having to find women hold on, I lost my, having to find women who are okay with being with a trans guy. What are some things that make you confident and love yourself? When I'm ready, how should I meet and come out to potential dates without the fear of rejection?
Well, I think the first thought is just recognizing that, like, so many cis people date trans people and non-binary people. Just, like, so many. There are a lot less, like, T for T couples than there are, like, cisgender and trans couples. Like, it's, I would say, I mean, I don't know, if I had to make up my percentage, I would be, like, less than 20% of all trans people who are in a relationship with other beings. It's T for T. So if you don't know what T for T is, it just means like trans for trans, like trans people dating trans people or non-binary people dating trans or whatever, you know? So I always just keep that in mind. And like the amount of like trans people that I hear that are dating someone cis is just, it's always like, it's just always happening. You know what I mean? So I would just always just like keep that in mind, that like it's not a phenomenon. It's very common. So thinking that first, you know what I mean? And I mean, maybe you can speak to the loving yourself part, but I think the coming out part is just like when you feel comfortable telling them that you're trans. You know, some people are going to like put it in their profile, in their dating profile. Some people you might meet at a queer event, so you might feel really comfortable telling them you're trans right away. Like some people you might not feel comfortable telling them you're trans because you meet them like in class or at your work and you want to wait a little bit, you know. I think that's much more of like a, where are you meeting them? Who are they? And making sure that you personally, if you want to tell them, you tell them before you get like attached to them or want to like have sex, because I feel like then it can be, I mean, I could just imagine it being a lot more jarring to be like, right before you're having sex or hot and heavy, you're like, BTW, I'm trans. I feel like that could be jarring to both people. Right. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, whether they are okay with it or not, I think it would just be like, oh, okay. Even if they're okay with it, it would be like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that's like different. Yeah. You know, like that's news. This is a weird time to tell me that news. You know what I mean? So.
Totally. Yeah.
What do you think as a cis person? You cis. Is that a slur?
I mean, in terms of loving yourself,
can I steal this? I know it's really pretty, but I just want to hold it.
Totally. Okay. So in terms of loving yourself, so actually, I want to share a story that you shared with me when we first met.
Okay.
And you told me the sweetest story.
What did I tell you?
You told me that when you were single, you used to make yourself romantic dinners, like spaghetti dinners with candlelight and music, and dream about being with a woman like me. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's a smooth talker, but this is apparently his true story. This is true. Okay.
What, you know, like, yes, spaghetti, like the long, like spaghetti,
like
ragu.
Like Lady and the Tramp style.
Yep,
like
straight up
spaghetti.
Ragu. Because it's the only thing I knew how to make. But I was always home alone. Mm-hmm. I would turn the lights down low. I'd put on some like jazz or some like, I'm thinking of, oh my gosh, why am I so bad with names tonight? This is a problem. But yeah, I would put on some like, you know, smooth, jazzy music, light some candles, and just eat spaghetti with myself. I also used to go to the movies by myself. I would go to the water a lot by myself.
So essentially you were creating the life that you wanted to have with me, with yourself.
I love how you're like, with me. Yes. I just love how you insert. Well, yes. With another being that turned out to be you.
Obviously me.
Yes. But yeah. I mean, I think it's funny though, because I did that stuff very subconsciously. Mm-hmm. It's not like I thought I'm going to do this because it's going to attract the person to me. It was just something that I did because I wanted that experience regardless of if I was going to have someone to have it with.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's my personal belief that that's what attracted.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm in agreement. But what I'm saying is I didn't think of it that way.
You weren't thinking of that.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of it like that. But yeah, I do agree.
But having a good time with yourself, right? Like spending time with yourself and, you know, noticing how much you don't like yourself is one of the first steps to loving yourself, right? Noticing like that voice that creeps in that's just like, oh, really? You're going to make spaghetti for yourself? Like, you know, like, what are you even doing? Or, you know, like the part of you that like criticizes or makes fun of you, like that is your anti-hero, right? That is your, you know, I'm the problem, it's me moment. It's like that's the voice that you have to start unpacking and figuring out where that voice came from. And, you know, definitely talking to somebody about it. And once you can dismantle the power that voice has, or the entitlement that it feels to like interrupt your self-love thoughts of making spaghetti for yourself and having a good ass Friday night by yourself.
Ugh, hate that voice.
We all have it, but it, you know, I'm at the point where it's not in charge. It's not the default. It's not like that's the voice that gets the power. It's more like that's the voice that comes along and gets redirected like a toddler.
Right.
And, you know,
sometimes I tell that voice to shut up.
Yeah.
Like literally. I'm
yeah.
like,
shut up.
Like, get out of here.
Right.
No one is talking to you.
Yes.
No one likes you. Go home.
Yes. I have dinner plans.
Right.
With this amazing self.
Right. It's like, yeah. I mean, I never thought of it. Like, I never thought of it how you're explaining it now.
I've thought of it so many times, and I love thinking of it because it's
I don't know. I never
sweet.
thought of it.
I feel
I
like
did it a lot. Like, I did this often.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
this wasn't something that was just like, oh, every now and then. Like, a lot. Like, I never took baths. Like, you would take baths, and like, I never took baths. I like made spaghetti because again, I didn't know what else to make. But yeah. Oh, sometimes I would make soup. Like in a can, you know, like I would have soup but yeah, I just always, you know, so I think even then though, I was so young, you know, it was more in the dreaming stage of life, where you have some of those thoughts, right? Like I suffered from a lot of depression and manicness when I was younger, but like during those times when I think back to them, it was much more about just, oh, when I fall in love, or, you know, like I used to, every time I would like wish, every time I had a wish, it was like, oh, it's 11:11. I'd be like, I wish I fall in love. You know what I mean? So. Yeah.
And our wishes met in the stars, and
they linked
like
up.
We're legit like a miracle story of how we met. Like, I
know. I like to think that I found you.
You did, but you only found me because I had opened the door to being found. I had like broken open the like dungeon.
We'll have to get into that story because but also I feel like you kind of like were peeking out the door, and then like I'd come close, you'd be like, I'm just gonna close the door, and then I would knock, and you'd be like, oh hi, and I'd be like, oh hey, and you'd be like, you know what, I'll be right back, and close the door. So there was a little bit. I mean, we'll have to get into that into another night, but I feel like, you know.
Yeah, I was very.
But I hear what you're saying.
I was wounded. Yes. I was basically like an emotionally battered woman.
But the fact that you even were opening the door, like I wouldn't have been able to find you if you hadn't done that work and decided that was something you wanted. Like I'm hearing you. I'm just kind of playing around, you know. So. And
you were cute. I mean, I couldn't deny that.
Right.
I tried to deny that. I did try to deny that. But.
Hey, what can I say? Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for asking your questions.
Are we at time?
Again, please. I know, flies by when you're having fun, baby. Like some other things that fly by. If you like the video, make sure you like the video, leave a comment, share this with your friends. We're trying to, get the word out there, We appreciate your help. Again, comment your Barbie. What's your number? 1 to 10. Did you see it? Did you not see it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it mediocre? I want to know.
Yeah.
Yes. What type of wine do you drink? If you're a wine drinker, give us some recommendations. We're out here on Long Island. So there's a lot of good wines around here.
Yes, we need to do like a winery.
Tasting. I know. I really want to go in the fall though. People like pump up the summer, and I'm like, the fall is the best time to go to the winery.
Yes.
Just saying. A little chill with your get warm and buzzy. We should do a meetup. We'll talk about. Okay, we're getting off topic.
If you're into a meetup, drop it
below
too.
Yes, but like the video, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on, because we don't know when the hell we're dropping these videos, but they come out every week. At some
point this weekend.
At some point during the week is when it happens. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
Love you.
This has been fun. Thank
you.
Bye.